In this peculiar world, Earth is safeguarded by an inexplicable entity known as the SCP Foundation, a group of highly skilled individuals dedicated to securing, containing, and protecting Earth and its inhabitants from the abnormal and abhorrent creatures plaguing our reality. But these anomalous entities aren't limited to just our planet. Oh no, they stretch far into the galaxy and into the abyss of imagination and unfathomable destructive power. From this abyss came a newborn, evacuated from his doomed planet. He was originally meant to touch down on a sparse part of the planet. He was meant to conquer, but through some tampering from a sentient robotic SCP, he was instead redirected into one of the SCP's Foundation's most formidable sites. There, the newborn Saiyan faced an overwhelming resistance she failed to subdue. Instead of erasing this young child from existence due to his unpredictable and dangerous power, the director of the site instead chose to house the Saiyan and give him an SCP classification, so that they could study his physiology and very nature and even use him for their own benefit. But they never could anticipate his ever-evolving, anomalous properties, which led the young Saiyan to escape, ultimately leading to a clash between SCP-9001 and SCP-682, which again, the young Saiyan failed to subdue. Although the Foundation were able to recontain the hard-to-destroy lizard, they weren't able to stop it from evolving and copying a technique from their new SCP, the ability to sense and produce Ki, also known as life energy, the fuel of power that every living being has. SCP-682 then proceeded to escape and set loose a gigantic beam of immense power directed towards SCP-9001. With the help of his new friend, SCP-204, the Saiyan child was able to redirect the beam away from the main facility and into space. As he recovered from the beam struggle, the alarm system went off and warned of the various SCPs set free, leading to a containment breach. SCP-9001 and SCP-204, being the only reasonable and good-natured SCPs, were set with the immeasurable task of preventing any SCP from leaving the main site until backup could arrive. The duo was soon separated by SCP-106, who claimed his first victim as the site director, but instead of killing him, he tortured him relentlessly. SCP-9001 ran into various SCPs as he went further down into the facility, where he fought a pack of SCP-939s and even SCP-173, which he befriended. But as the Saiyan was trying to make his way towards SCP-682, he was ambushed by SCP-096, who proceeded to critically injure and maim, sending SCP-9001 unconscious. Meanwhile, SCP-204 fought and evaded SCP-049 and ran into SCP-500, which are sensu bean-like pills, which he proceeded to force-feed to SCP-9001 as he held off the other SCPs. When the Saiyan warrior recovered, he thanked his friend for the assistance before being witness to his death as SCP-173 broke through his defenses and swiftly dealt a fatal blow to SCP-204, having just witnessed his friend's demise, receiving a Senkai boost and being surrounded by unimaginable power. SCP-9001's Saiyan genes had to compensate. SCP-9001 quickly ascended in power and achieved the legendary transformation of a Super Saiyan. He made quick work of the monsters, not outright overpowering them and defeating them, but doing enough so that they could be recaptured. Some years pass, and SCP-9001 makes friends with MTF Squad Omega 7 as they were sent to deal with SCP-088. Goku was ordered to stay and be debriefed on an incoming threat elsewhere on a distant planet. SCP-2399 made a deal with Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, promising him a wish, and now the Saiyan duo of Nappa and Vegeta are making their way towards Earth and are set to arrive in exactly 1 year. Inside a secluded and dark room, the O5 Council discuss various things about their foundation and the incoming threat they are about to face. They debrief SCP-9001, also known as Goku, on his heritage and the incoming Saiyans that are approaching. SCP-9001 isn't astonished by this revelation, as he has always been treated differently from everyone around him, while those who aren't classified as an SCP. Instead, he asks about his teammates' whereabouts and what they're up to. This question is ignored, or perhaps not even heard, as all of the members are discussing at length the threat they are about to face in a year's time. We've dealt with reality-ending beings. Why should we have to worry about a couple of monkeys? These monkeys should be about 100 times stronger than the SCP-9001's incident. They're world conquerors with the ability to destroy planets. We shouldn't take them lightly. They're targeting us specifically. If they're even able to destroy one of our facilities, they'll let loose a bunch of SCPs into the world. It's simply a risk we cannot take. We have to eradicate them before they land. We have to give them battle. You read yesterday's report. The world conquerors aren't the only problem. It's who they're working The evil space tyrant, Frieza. We have to capture them and extract some sort of information from them. If they're the lackeys, then a being 1,000 times more powerful than them, with an army capable of conquering galaxies, forget the facilities. We have to prepare for war. If worst comes to worst, we can always unleash the old man, send him hurling their way, and let him wreak havoc. There are plenty of SCPs we can send their way, which would annihilate. The only problem would be the annihilation of us as well. I don't know if we could recontain the monsters like SCP-682 or SCP-106. The only reason we stood a chance was because of SCP-9001. The only reason they got loose in the first place was because of 9001. It was our fault. We couldn't anticipate 9001's ever-evolving anomalous properties. They continued to throw around ideas about how they could deal with the threat, most of them being overtly complicated, getting the whole world involved and even weaponizing the most dangerous SCPs, but instead they settled on their only reasonable option: take them away from the Earth with an SCP that takes them to a different dimension, then utilize MTF Omega-7 and especially SCP-9001 to fend off and extract the Saiyan duel, while MTF Tau-5, a squad of immortal cyborgs, delivers a fatal blow, while the rest of their squads defend all of their sites and areas, and under no circumstances should they yield any inch of site ground or any SCP for that matter. Now you may be wondering, how did the SCP Foundation even get the knowledge of the Saiyans? The SCP Foundation already had an inkling about Goku's race. They knew that a warrior-like species capable of emitting immense power was somewhere out there in space, but the real information was leaked to them by SCP-2399. SCP-2399's real goal is to kill the evil space tyrant for something that he did to him. He despises the Saiyans for working for him, but he has grown a weird attachment towards Goku. From observing him through SCP-204 or the original drone that redirected Goku towards the SCP Foundation, he also doesn't like the Foundation's scene as they have tried to destroy him. SCP-2399 was able to get a vast array of information on a lot of SCPs that the Foundation is aware of. One of the more powerful ones is one in particular that can grant wishes, though he hasn't told the Foundation as to the motive of the Saiyan invasion, but SCP-2399 is trying to acquire that SCP for himself so he could wish for the full mobility and completion of his body, traveling at well over double the speed of light on their way to Earth with his Saiyan prince and his companion. They knew they had to be patient to get their wish. Although the Saiyan pods were fast, the small planet they called Earth was far away, unknowingly fought off. The strange, sentient construction had tipped off the Saiyans about a foundation made to secure, contain, and protect the inhabitants of their planet from the abnormal. The way SCP-2399 explained anomalies to Vegeta made the prince laugh. The planet was filled with weaklings. If they needed to protect themselves from the pursuit of power, they were just weak, meek sheep ready to be conquered. The impossible was completely possible through the SCP Foundation. The sentient constructoid explained that the SCP Foundation housed anomalies that plagued not only the Earth, but ones that also came from outside. Strange creatures and objects were for some reason or another attracted to this far pit, strange piece of rock, but he gave a strict warning to Vegeta about the various monsters that the SCP Foundation held, reality benders and godlike beings under containment. He forbids him from pushing Earth to its very limits, or else face the wrath of these beings. Of course, this only inflates Vegeta's ego. He laughs at the thought of a weak planet housing godlike beings. He ignores the construction's advice and instead prepares for the full annihilation of Earth's military and subjugation of its population, and his wish to become immortal and finally put an end to Frieza. During the debriefing, Goku was frustrated and tired. He couldn't correct them as he never used his real name once, a name given to him by his friend Iris, his teammate SCP-105. Goku walked down the hall in his white key, and he heard the door on the further hall decompress and soft sobbing. He sensed his teammates' key signatures, all but one, Abel's or SCP-076. Goku loved sparring with him. Abel was a lot more durable and a lot more smarter than his usual matches he had throughout the years. His fighting techniques were both ancient and ferocious, but Goku was always forced to fight him in his base form due to the lack of power on Abel's end. He knew that they were sent out on a secret mission in, but he could not sense their key signature from here due to a new key signature blocker developed by the SCP Foundation in preparation for the Saiyan invasion. So I won't explain in detail what happens here, just know that I kind of want to include Gohan, so after Abel's death at SCP-105's own hand, she's really sad, so she and Goku make Gohan, I guess. In a year's time, Goku and the SCP Foundation prepared for the Saiyan arrival, preparing obstacles and threats for the Saiyans to overcome before they could meet SCP-9001. With Goku's family safely secured in one of their sites, the Saiyans were going to come into the SCP's Foundation's own turf, and it wouldn't make it easy for them to conquer their planet. So not only does the SCP Foundation have to protect their sites to make sure no SCPs escape, they also have to neutralize Vegeta and Nappa, while only being able to use their MTF squads and their Thalmio SCPs. How could they possibly achieve this? Well, make sure to tune in next time. Oh, follow my Twitter. You won't regret it.